Welcome everybody back to the Deviant League's GT4 season. This is season 3.2, round 2 at the Trial Mountain Circuit. My name is Webbo, here to join you tonight for the next race of the championship, and thank you to everyone in the league for asking me to come back. It's a great pleasure to be here with you. Let me talk to you a little bit about where we stand after race 1. Of course, the results of race 1 will be the standings of the start of race 2, but all the same, in the promotion places from GT4, the top 3 at the moment, Hyphy Honda, who got the fastest lap as well to take a total point haul from the last round of 21, leads T-Deeds by 6 points on 15. Then comes Rutaz on 13 in third position. Just outside of that promotion zone is in P4 Saito, and in P5 Anatoly or Maxwell. Then following down the order, no changes, I don't believe, from round 2, the race results. We've got Lalo Kills, we've got Devin, in 6th, Lalo Kills in 7th, Thrasher, Arcane, Curious Kai, Silo, Sully, and then not scoring due to non-appearance, Golden Oracle and Huge Jar. Then the combined manufacturers standings at the moment with GT3, of course, is we've got the Alfa Romeo team on top on 40 points, just 1 point ahead of Team Jaguar on 39. In third place is Team Peugeot on 34, still very much well within a shout here. Then we've got Team Chevrolet on 30 points, Team Lamborghini on 21. The Ferrari team are in 6th place with 23 points, and at the bottom at the moment, Team Renault on 16 points. Well, we will be getting into the detail of the qualifying standings after they went through their qualifying setup. We will get on that straight away, and I'll get my screen organized. So, of course, the first thing to do is to pause the screen. We will need to make sure that we get our settings all done correctly. Let's run through then, shall we? The order in the pole position, we have the Huge Jar. Then comes Hyphy Honda in 2nd place. We then see Rue qualifying in 3rd with Maxwell, an impressive 4th position. Down into 5th place, out of position possibly from race results from last time out. We've got T-Deeds on the 3rd row with Slug next to him. Teammates in the Lamborghinis there. Then on row 4, we've got Thrasher and Deviant. Next up are Saito in P9 with Sully alongside in the bright yellow smiling Peugeot. Then we've got behind them the Golden Oracle, that is the sister Jaguar car, with the Deviant team's Kuros Kai in P12. Right at the back, though, we have Lalo Kills in the all-blue Alfa Romeo with our safety car driver Mercury at the tail of the field. Safety car detail that I'm learning as I go here in the championship. The safety car will come out for a full course caution. No pitting is allowed before the safety car comes out, but then pit stops are permitted once the safety car is circulating. So in the first time round the pits, after the safety car has emerged, we can start our pit stops. Aggressive tyre, aggressive fuel use, and very quick day to night transitions. We've got simulated unknown weather conditions as well. But away from the start, we're going to see Huge Jar on pole with Hyphy Honda alongside in the Alfa Romeo. Anyway, that's enough talking. Let's get racing. We've got 3 green lights on now. Hopefully we'll see some green lights, we'll see some red lights out, and it's go, go, go. Huge Jar getting away, but it looks like the Alfa Romeo on the inside of Hyphy Honda is already progressing very nicely down to the inside line on the approach into turn 1. This is a great move, but actually Rue with a fantastic launch off the start, hopping over that crested curb. It's Rue in the lead right now, who has managed to launch his way and get the whole shot through into the tunnel. Fantastic work from Rue. Huge Jar defends successfully with the blue special accents on the Ferrari, and they've already positioned themselves in a brilliant start here for our drivers. Excuse me while I get everything organized as we get underneath the second tunnel in the circuit. It's 1, 2, 3. It's Rue, Huge Star, and Hyphy Honda. T Deeds is clashing there with the Corvette of Slug. Slug gets down the inside, I do believe. So Divine and Slug get ahead of T Deeds, who's dropped down to 6th position. Contrast that with his start from the previous round as they go side by side down the long main straight. The two Peugeots together in all new liveries, I think, for today, with the floody there, Kuroskai in the McGann Trophy, also in a new livery for tonight's racing. Fantastic to see as they head down into the hairpin, the open hairpin at the end of the lap. Some miscalculations of the braking zones cap happening ahead of them. We're going to have to watch that one again to see what went down between the drivers as they head down towards the next braking zone. Here we go, replay time as we join Golden Oracle, who brakes heavily down into the hairpin. We've got the Huracan on the inside. I think it was the McGann Trophy that had an issue. Let's join him on board. There's several cars clashing. It was. I wonder if we had some contact from behind there that affected him. And it looks like the second Jaguar down at the tail of the field. Is that Sully? No, it's Sully having problems as Mercury is circulating. So it was the Golden Oracle having problems himself as well. Getting stuck. Coming out of, it gets stuck in the gully, I think, as we then approach the monstrously difficult chicane at the end of the circuit. This really is a very, very tricky place to maximize the lap time. And talking of monster, you've got the brand new livery here of the Camo Monster Energy Rue, and that seems to be going well in the Corvette. Crossing the line then at the end of lap 1, the lead is Rue, and it's a significant lead as well from the 458 Italia of the Huge Jar, with behind him Hyphy Honda leading the championship. But you have to say, slightly disappointed, I would imagine, with his positioning at this stage. But in the beautiful white, black and neon green Alfa Romeo, Hyphy Honda in 3rd position. Slug is looking to defend from Divine, but bring them both forward towards that fight for the podium. We've got some great night stickers on Divine's car as well there, shining in the tunnel. And a split livery decision there for the Corvette team, going with the Dunlop car for Divine. I don't know if he's managed to negotiate some Dunlop tyres on the car as well, but the headlights are on as we head into the evening here at the Trial Mountain Circuit. Tremendous circuit. Love to see it featuring on part of a racing calendar, because it is one of the fantasy circuits, and you don't tend to get a great deal of those in racing calendars, and I do love to see it, because we should be doing in sim racing what we can't do on track, and that's my view anyway. We should be making the most of these fantastic circuits. The Juicy Fruit car of car number 19 being challenged now as they're going to go 3 wide, are they, down into the hairpin. Can they, Renault Megane Trophy of Kuroskai, get that braking zone correct this time? He is on the inside line. They clatter door handles, and Saito seem to be disappearing off to the right there, and there's a lot of contact on the car. I do think, in defense of the drivers, there is a little bit of lag between those drivers. Perhaps Kuroskai suffering a little bit of internet connection there, seems to be stuttering around the race circuit slightly. But they have to leave a little bit more margin to each other on the racetrack. Kuroskai, though, into 8th position. TD's just in front of him, and we've got the soft tyres on. I'm not sure what the mandated tyre is today. I'm going to go ahead and guess it's the soft tyre again. Kuroskai has picked up a penalty thanks to all of that contact that he was going through. And it seems to be that it's taken effect after the penalty marker board, so he's going to have to go through the whole of the next lap and try and make it as clean as possible to minimise the amount of time spent. There's a Ferrari diving down the inside. That's Thrasher looking a little bit leery on these medium tyres, and you can understand that the medium tyres are not necessarily going to be all that great as Golden Oracle closes off the braking zone. I don't think he saw him in the blind spot there. And Thrasher having to recover quickly. You can see the scratch marks already on that beautiful Ferrari as they're going to go 3 wide. This is actually a narrow turn right here, and very easy to get off, to hit that rock on the inside, or to get stuck in the gully on the outside of the circuit. So Thrasher down to 12th position. Sully just trying to get some temperature in these tyres and catch up with the rest of them. Safety car is obviously in at the moment. Huge Jar continues to lead, and my did we miss Huge Jar in the first race, because here he is at the front, having taken first position from Rue. Let's maybe try and catch when that happened. Looks like it was way before this period. We've gone a long way back, haven't we? Unfortunately, to see the Huge Jar has made the move on Rue, but it is early doors, a very early stage in the racing here, and running around the outside of the hairpin goes Rue for a good angle on the way into the next S's section. The car's getting very light down through here under the braking zone for another tight right-hander, and then you've got to build the speed here for the third longest straight on the circuit before finding your braking zone, finding your marker boards for the extremely tight left-hander leading into the final chicane. A little bit of oil overrun there in the exhaust, kicking out blue flame, which is great to see in these evening conditions. Rue, though, getting a little bit of rub on the tyre wall onto the arm coat, and that's going to be arresting his progress out of the final corner. Here we go then, but a personal best time of a 2:01.147 for Rue. So Huge Jar might be going quickly, but Rue is setting some good times. Huge Jar catching a little bit of air as well over the first chicane, and you love to see that, as now we've got Hyphy Honda lights ablaze, very bright yellow lights on the Alfa Romeo, and trying to get the inside line through the first tunnel section. Rue holding the middle ground and presumably going to keep the apex here. A couple of right-handers will favour the Chevy driver, and indeed he holds on nicely to second place. However, taking these defensive lines is going to cost him dearly in the chase down for Huge Jar's lead. He needs that slipstream down this long straight. Hyphy Honda, of course, has that slipstream, and he's going to make use of it. So cleanly out into the inside lane here for Hyphy Honda, but suffering, I think, perhaps a little bit of top speed differential on the Alfa Romeo. Potentially didn't manage to maximize the output from his position there, and Hyphy Honda is not able to challenge in the braking zone. We're waiting, of course, for the first pit stop window to open. They can make subsequent pit stops if they so desire, but these three at the top of the race standings very much in a pace of their own at the moment. Let's have a look down the order in a few moments' time, but Hyphy Honda is chasing down second position and looking pretty smart about it as well. Looking like he is a little bit impatient to get on terms here with Rue, who makes a mistake in that final chicane, the first part of the final chicane, and Hyphy Honda maximising, but unfortunately that large rear-ended Chevy blocking the way through for Rue. Let's see. We're going to have a look as they approach the corner. Rue is no longer going to fight it. Like I say, early days in this endurance event, you don't want to give up too much time, and Hyphy Honda straight away able to set the car up at the moment so that he's not catching quite as much air, so maybe slightly softer on this undulating and tricky circuit here at Trial Mountain, one of the great classics of Gran Turismo. So pleased to have it here in the GT7 sim platform or game, depending on your opinion, but looking great, and he's building the pace straight away. Hyphy Honda is unlocking something here out of the circuit. Of course, we're now going to an anti-clockwise circuit, and it's now the tyres on the alternate side of the car, on the right-hand side, that are wearing more. And now you can see Huge Jar from the perspective of the helmet here of the Hyphy Honda Alfa Romeo, and drawing fully alongside. So Hyphy Honda with some really good top speed. It's on the favoured braking zone, cleaner line into the corner, but can't take the apex because Huge Jar, despite his amount of lag there on the car, or possibly Hyphy Honda's, are giving each other plenty of racing room, which you do like to see. Oh, but Huge Jar making a mistake. Hyphy Honda trying to do the cutback move, but unfortunately with Huge Jar losing adhesion on the apex. Again, the Pikachu wing mirrored Hyphy Honda struggling to find a way through. arrival in front, and actually that has brought Roux right into the mix once again. So it goes Huge Jar, Hyphy Honda and Roux at the head of the field. Another driver who didn't manage to make the first race of the season, Slug, is in 4th position here, actually leading T Deeds, who showed so well last race. And my favourite highlight of the last race was T Deeds holding a massive drift. Maxwell is in 5th position, the Thai driver, with Deviant in the sister Chevy, but in the Dunlop colour scheme. Car number 22 in 6th position. Talk of T Deeds, he's actually on the soft tyre, but unable to unlock some pace here. Perhaps this track not favouring the Lambo or his driving style, and he's using up some fuel, unless he managed to start with lower fuel here. But if he did start with lower fuel and soft tyres, this race is not running to plan at all for him. The drivers are given the indication just before the race, or just before qualifying, I believe, what lap the safety car will come out, and I believe it is lap 9 that the safety car is due out today for the first caution and the pit stop window. We've got Kuros Kine 8th, we've got Thrasher in 9th position. No close racing happening at the moment though down here in the latter end of the top 10, with Lalo Kills in 10th, then Saito, who's wearing a penalty in the Juicy Fruit car, with Golden Oracle not far behind. Sully has caught Golden Oracle though, and we have a fight at the tail of the field. We have a fight at the front as well, as now Hyphy Honda fully alongside into the hairpin, managed to get the inside line this time as we pass the campers on the inside of the circuit. Huge Jar loses the lead then for the first time since the early laps, and Hyphy Honda into the lead of the race, and looking then to dictate his own pace now, because he has finally got himself some clear air in front of the nose of that Alfa Romeo. So Hyphy Honda, yellow lights ablaze as they have been, front brake discs shining and glowing beautifully down into the penultimate corner there, and he will now start to drift away, try and inch his way away from this group. It's a full moon at Trial Mountain, and you can almost hear the wolves howling at that moon. We've got then further back Roux just dropping off that top 3 and getting almost as far from the second place Huge Jar as Slug is from him. Night is falling here at the Trial Mountain circuit. We are 2 laps away from the first pit stop window, full course caution period, and the cars and track are looking absolutely glorious in the dusk and night conditions now. There you can see Roux, it is pitch black into the second sector of the racetrack. Coming out of the tunnel, that's almost like a reverse Monaco situation, isn't it? You're running in the bright, ultra fluorescent lighting of the tunnel straight into the pitch black, with no trackside lighting whatsoever for the drivers. Let's see how that feels going down the long back straight. You usually get the sun glinting across the dashboard here and reflecting in your lights, but very bright lit tunnel straight into, well, it's almost like a cartoon tunnel surface has been drawn on the front of that tunnel exit, and down we go into the hairpin then, with Roux in 3rd position. Looks like T Deeds might have some attention from Deviant behind shortly. 2 laps away then from that safety car period, on its way. Rest of the drivers are spreading out somewhat on the circuit. In fact, it looks like Slug is closing in the battle for the podium, with Deviant in 6th place. We've got Thrasher down in 7th. Something untoward has happened to Maxwell, who finds himself down in 11th position. But it looks like pitting early comes Hyphy Honda, Huge Jar and Roux. Now, they have run out of tyres, and as far as my understanding here of the rules is concerned, the 3 front runners are pitting before that safety car period, but they are going to be prepared for the racing action, as Slug takes the lead now and passes the pit lane and the pitting drivers. Slug into the lead on the soft tyres, and hoping then to run through lap 8. T Deeds is now in 2nd place, treating those tyres a little bit more carefully potentially, but the front left is looking terrible on T Deeds, and you can see as soon as he turns to the left, sorry, the front right is looking terrible. As soon as he turns to the left, the car is not going according to plan. Thrasher in third position. This could be a very interesting calculation then from the drivers currently in the top three, Slug, T-Deeds and Thrasher, who may be actually waiting for that safety car to come out. They can run a slow lap on lap 9. They've got themselves a little bit of track position. Whether they decide to pit early or not, I'm not sure, but Hyphy Honda is out of the pits. Hyphy Honda has got a full tank of fuel, but he has fitted the soft tyres again. So I imagine he's then going to have to pit for a second time. Huge Jar has put himself in a good position. He's got full tank of fuel with 45 minutes to go on the race, and he's got himself fresh medium tyres, which may make it to the end of the race. Same deal with Rue here. He's put the medium tyres on as well, with Maxwell down in 7th place. He himself has also put on now hard tyres. We are seeing aggressive tyre wear here at the Trial Mountain circuit, but is it aggressive enough? Is the degradation effect on the tyres sufficient to bring the hard tyre into play? It is a very ill-favoured tyre in general, but of course, if you can save a pit stop, sometimes it is worth taking that pain. The Deviant driver in 8th. We've got Curious Kai in 9th. Layla Kills in 10th. Saito and Sully, the two big fat Peugeots, in 11th and 12th position. Here comes the safety car then on his way out of the pit lane. So he will catch up with the leaders. Has he just timed it well enough? The lights are on. And you can still see the conditions there. A Slug has done what I believe is the correct procedure here. Slug, T-Deeds and Thrasher have not pitted. They have waited for the safety car. Hyphy Honda, Huge Jar and Rue did not. Now, they could argue they just simply couldn't, and they were going to take any penalties coming to them, but they now have to run at 65 to 70 miles an hour according to the pace of the safety car as they wait and wait to get around. As far as they're concerned, hopefully not everybody will have pitted. Not everybody will have caught the train of the safety car in time here. How does the track look from the perspective of the drivers here at the back of the grid who are running at pace? They're allowed to run at full pace. This is not a true safety car situation. This is a caution period car. So there's no accident, damage or debris or marshals on circuit. This is purely to condense the race and open up the pit window. So the drivers at the tail of the field are allowed to run at full racing pace until, of course, they are no longer allowed to pass once they've caught the trailing safety car. Here is Saito then, on board with him, running close to full racing pace, although he's not allowed to pass this stage, as the bulk of the field are approaching the first, well, major hairpin after the longest straight on the circuit. So we look forward to seeing how the pit stops will take effect here. So as far as my current understanding of the rules goes, and I am absolutely happy to take correction here, but as far as my current understanding goes, the previous leaders of the race were not allowed to pit until that safety car came in. So we shall await confirmation post-race and in time for race 3 of the championship, which will be coming up soon on this channel as well. Make sure that you've subscribed and liked the video today if you want notifications when we go live, and you can join in the fun as we're all live together. T-Deeds is in the pits, Slug is in the pits, and that means that, well, I'm surprised to see Thrasher not in. Thrasher, though, on the medium tyres, has a quarter of a tank of fuel left. He has about half tyre wear on the most worn tyre, which is the right-hand side of the car, as he drives it, at least, not as we're looking at it, his right. So he will be looking to get a good couple of laps here at the lead of the race, not troubled by anybody else's pace. Hyphy Honda has, as I said before, put on the new soft tyres under his pit Time and Huge Jar and Root have all done the same situation, but they've put on medium tyres. Hyphy Honda committing not only to any ramifications for pitting before the safety car, but also for having to pit a second time tonight. I'm fully expecting. It is 20 minutes down, 40 to go here in the second round of our GT4 season at the Deviant Racing League. My name is Webbo, and very pleased to have everybody watching. I'm very grateful for everybody's attention and comments, likes, as you see fit to leave them. Hyphy Honda in second place, Huge Jar in third. Then we've got Rue in fourth place. The safety car, I think, is on its way into the pits at the end of this lap. Maxwell is in fifth, with, on the hard tyres, the only hard tyre runner I've seen so far. Deviant is in sixth place. Then Kuroskai in seventh. We've got Lalo Kills. Everybody has caught the tail of the safety car group. Our Saito is in ninth with Sully in 10th. And then that's going to be a bit tricky for the likes of Slug. Slug, who has put soft tyres on as well. So he's committing to a second pit stop, I believe. Then we have T Deeds in a good position here, I think, despite the fact that he has lots of cars to pass at the tail of the field, but on medium tyres, and having, I believe, at least paid attention to the racing rules. Mercury is our safety car driver, and he will pick up the pit lane entry soon enough. He's restricted to 70 miles an hour, I believe. And from the perspective of Thrasher, who has not pitted at all, finds himself at the lead of the race with medium tyres on board. What they won't need a lot of attention to bring up to temperature. He's running, of course, in sixth gear. Why? Because it is the minimum fuel requirement. There goes the entry into the pit lane of our safety car, and that means that we have a green flag to go racing as soon as Thrasher deems it available. So going through the final chicane. Oh, Thrasher just getting that positioning wrong. He was out on the grass, but Hyphy Honda not permitted to overtake him at this stage. So Thrasher, could have been a calculation there from Thrasher, but we go green on lap 10 here at Trial Mountain, and at the second phase of our race. Thrasher will go when he crosses the line, I'm hoping. Here we go. It is a restart then, and everything getting a little bit chocked up there in the middle of the pack, as the drivers now need to avoid each other in these fully dark night conditions heading into turn one. And so far the two Ferraris now at the front of the field. Thrasher leads Huge Jar from Hyphy Honda and Root. Then comes Deviant in that fifth position. Maxwell in sixth right now, and going through the tunnel. Kuroskai in seventh. Saito, Lalo Kills, and Slug now on the back of the pack, trying to find his way through, as will T Deeds, but Sully has already given up those positions, so T Deeds is looking for a way through without making contact with his teammate. We've got Ferraris at the front, we've got the two Lamborghinis at the back. Safety car is in, of course, and Thrasher leads us away from his teammate Huge Jar in the blue accented Ferrari, celebrating HP coming on board, and definitely not any kind of actual historic significance. Huge Jar then looking for a way through past Thrasher. Thrasher not making it super easy. Will he blend out of the throttle? Absolutely not. He wants the lead of this race for a few laps because he doesn't want to be hampered by anybody else's pace. He's on the medium tyre, are both Ferraris now, but Thrasher has not pitted, so it does not help him to drop behind the other cars. It helps him, I think, here to keep a Ferrari behind him, a teammate in that position, and it helps him to not allow the rest of the drivers to go through. If there's a Ferrari with a car number 44, we'll get used to seeing that next year. And Huge Jar then giving us that little preview. Hyphy Honda looking for an opportunity down the inside, but not finding the way through. Defending slightly here from Rue, but Hyphy Honda clattering into the barrier, and so did somebody else behind here. Who was that? That was Lalo Kills in P10 I want to see that again, actually. Let's ride on board with him as we head towards the barrier. Oh, we almost T-boned the barrier. I wonder, were we helped into that situation? Let's look from behind then as we head down towards the braking zone. We turn in. Everything looks fairly normal here. He got himself on the outside, did he, of the Jaguar, and that didn't help him at all. So let's skip forward and rejoin the action. Back with Thrasher then, still leading this race from Huge Jar and Hyphy Honda. Rue dropping back again. So Hyphy Honda content to run in these top positions at this stage of the race. In fact, Hyphy Honda having a look then down the inside of Huge Jar. Huge Jar holding on to the inside line, won't maximise his run out of the tunnel here. Hyphy Honda looked like he really managed to get a good look at the back, a good run. Let's see, it's not happening for him against the Ferraris. The Alfa Romeo giving up a couple of clicks down the long straight, so he's not able to challenge here despite getting what looked to be a better run through the corner prior to the longest straight out of the tunnel. But 1, 2, 3, it's Thrasher, Huge Jar and Hyphy Honda, with Rue down in 4th position, very much on his own here in no man's land and unable to live with the pace, but perhaps keeping some tyre functionality for some grip, I should say, for the latter part of our race. Of course, he is trying to fuel and run to the end of the race. Slug, however, absolutely is not. He started at the back after the restart. He's now in 5th position, and Thrasher has pitted with just 6% of fuel remaining. So Thrasher, from the lead of the race, pits now for his first pit stop, and he hopes only pit stop. It's an interesting calculation he's made in terms of strategy, and he's I've just seen the rear wing of Slug, who's got controller something on the back of his rear wing, so just letting us know that he's driving with a little bit of a disadvantage maybe. Let's get the chase cam, shall we, to get me a close-up of that. I can't read it from this angle, unfortunately. It's a shame, but I'm sure it says controller something. No, I can't read it, I'm afraid. Controller King, maybe? If that's the case, fantastic. I love that. I'd love to see it, but he's certainly indicating he is using a controller. Maxwell is in 5th, with Deviant chasing behind, taking very different lines into the corner. And Maxwell, remember, on the hard tyres, so struggling for grip comparatively at this stage. Deviant will be chewing through those mediums, especially if he's taking alternate lines to find his way through. T-Deeds, like Slug, was at the back in the... T-Deeds finding a Divine Chevrolet in the wrong place for him on the exit of the corner, clattered into him, lost all of his momentum down this long straight. Quite often Gran Turismo will give you a penalty for contact as well as having suffered that. He's put his hazard lights on because he knows he's going to be slow in comparison. Drops down to 8th position. I was just going to give him the big up as well and say that he was moving forward similar to his teammate Slug, but unfortunately that little incident will have cost him time. Lalo Kills in 9th position. Will be catching T-Deeds on this lap, but again, T-Deeds might well get the grip back again. Sully and our Saito are at the back of the running order, with the exception of Thrasher, who has pitted for medium tyres. That could be an inspired pit stop there, but he has a big gap to catch any further pitting drivers. Some drivers, of course, will try and run to the end here on a slightly conservative and gentle run to the flag. Thrasher may be able to literally thrash the car on these tyres and fuel combination. He's certainly got plenty of fuel on board, so it's going to be very interesting to see if Thrasher can bring himself back into the hunt for the podium here today. Hyphy Honda, though, is in 2nd place. Huge Jar is in 1st, Thrasher's teammate. We have Ferraris bookending our grid right now, and Rue is in 3rd place and has re-caught this pair. So he's clearly brought those tyres in a little bit more gently, or the soft tyres are starting to die off on Hyphy Honda's car. But Huge Jar on the same tyre strategy as Rue. and Hyphy Honda on the same strategy as Slug. However, I believe Slug pitted legally. We shall see as we run down then. Hyphy Honda getting a good run out of the corner. Let's just ride with Huge Jar on a replay and see what mistake we made. We ran into the rocks on the outside of the circuit, and that's why we just gave up track position. Wasn't actually a great deal that Hyphy Honda did, other than apply pressure to earn that one, but a mistake then from Huge Jar and Hyphy Honda. He's now allowed Hyphy Honda to unlock whatever pace he's got in those soft tyres for the next couple of laps, unless he can get the place back quickly. 30 minutes gone, 30 to go. It is Huge Jar in second, Hyphy Honda in first, with Rue just catching now this group. Talking about catching, there is Slug doing a great job on the car as well, looking for a way down on the inside into Rue's car. Running in fourth position, Slug on the soft tyres, will need to pit again, just like Huge Jar in front. It is very, very dark out there. Controller gang, there you go. I finally got a view that could show me that close-up little bit of banter, which you love to see. Deviant is slowing down because he's suffered a half-second penalty, but so is Maxwell behind him. So should be Forza T Deeds, who's going to go through in the Lamborghini, at least past Maxwell. There he is, thanks to that penalty on the car. Running past nicely. T Deeds in sixth, Maxwell down to seventh thanks to the penalty. T Deeds catching Deviant as well for the same reason. Lalo is in eighth place with Kuros Kai having a slightly more consistent race, I think, this race out. So just that practice effect, getting on a little bit better. And the two Peugeots then in the 10th and 11th positions. Where is Thrasher now? Is he catching those Peugeots? No, he is miles away, trying to build some pace on comparatively slower tyres and a very heavy Ferrari with fuel. May have overfilled that car slightly, I wonder if that's the case, but you see the Deviant stickers on the back of his Ferrari. Much more traditional Ferrari racing colours here for Thrasher than putting the celebrity blue onto Huge Jars. We've got a penalty on Rue's car. Looks like they're just a half second, but that should bring Slug into play now. Huge Jar has been unable to recatch Hyphy Honda, and at this rate of tyre wear, I wonder if Huge Jar is going to have to pit again as well. He's got half a tank of fuel remaining for the 27.5 minutes we have on the clock. So far, Huge Jar has been putting in a very good performance. I don't want to give any commentator curses out there. We can barely see Rue's car given the camouflage effect on their vehicle. And here comes Slug then, catching, and getting the positioning very nicely on the way into the first corner. It works out very, very well for Slug. Did that penalty for Rue. And straight off and into the circuit. We'll get a real close-up of the livery here on Slug's car as we run through the tunnel. Looking good though for Slug at this stage on the soft tyres. He's struggling for front right grip. Struggling a little for rear right grip, but he'll be feeling the fronts way more. A lot of left-hand turns at speed and left-hand slow corner traction zones as well for that front right tyre to put up with, which I would imagine we'll see another pit stop coming. But how about Slug? That must have been another mistake from Huge Jar. Let's again just check out, is Huge Jar struggling away from the corners? He is getting this one wrong. That's the second time we've seen it for Huge Jar, unfortunately. As the grip drops off that front right tyre, or he's pushing that a little bit too hard through the corner. That is giving up another position then from Hughes-Jar. Exactly what happened in the battle with Hyphy Honda. Slug into second, but he will, as I say, need to pit again, I think. That's a massive dive bomb from Hughes-Jar down the inside. Didn't want to give that one up, and showed a fair amount of bravery given how he ran out of grip on a very similarly profiled corner just a few, well, maybe a kilometre or so earlier on. It might be a mile long, I'm not entirely sure on the measurement of the longest straight here at Trial Mountain. Hughes-Jar finding his way back into second position, and Slug, I think, just lacking confidence on that front right tyre. Into the pits we go with Slug then for his pit stop. So that's his second pit stop now. We've got Ruin into third position, it'll be, as he comes through that terrible final chicane. Piece of Armco has seen plenty of sparks flying up from it, but Hyphy Honda leads this race by a significant margin, and he's got the fastest lap at the moment, 1:59.959, and that was set on the 16th lap. So building the pace as the fuel comes off. Talking of fuel though, has Hyphy Honda overextended here on the fuel usage? He will need to get a bit more of the good stuff for the engine during his next pit stop. Hughes-Jar in second place. We've got some battles going on the grid at the moment. Let's have a look through. Ruin third, then comes T Deeds in fourth place. As I said, I think T Deeds, despite the fact that at the restart he was plumb last on the track, I think he could be in a great position here if we are going to see any penalties for pitting before the safety car or for second pit stops to come. We've already seen one, that was his teammate Slug in the pits. I wonder if Slug has actually come out of the pits now. Here is a good battle developing. This is between Maxwell in fifth and Lalo Kills in sixth. Lalo Kills in the fastest car tonight, certainly under the handling of Hyphy Honda, as Lalo Kills in sixth place. We'll look to try and get some tips from his teammate, I think, around this circuit, and some of those sponsors as well. He needs to sell some space on that car. Needs to wine and dine some executives. Just getting a little bit loose on the rear is that Alfa Romeo. Maxwell is defending here like a lion. Looking down the inside, Rue is in the pits then on 12% remaining fuel. Is Maxwell shaping for a pit entry? He's not, he's just defending. That is just a straightforward defense from Maxwell into the corner. Wow, super different lines, and you can see there Lalo Kills having to run out on the marbles, out on the tyre detritus here. Beautiful sunset effect, sunrise effect I should say, from the rear camera on board with Lalo Kills. He's definitely got some good pace at the moment. They both take the position of the pitting driver, and Maxwell is just making sure that he has to stay on the outside line of the corners. I thought Lalo was going to get the corner there, but no, Maxwell had the measure of him. Maxwell to the inside, but Lalo Kills finally makes the move. That was a long time in the running, and Lalo Kills up to fourth position. Remember, Maxwell on the hard tyres, very different grip there. That's why we saw the different cornering styles work so well for Lalo Kills. It's because of that tyre advantage. But I'm expecting a further pit stop right down into the dirt there on the inside of the corner from Maxwell. Now, why did Maxwell not put more fuel on board if he was going to use the hard tyres? Because his fuel tank is now flashing. He'll only get one more lap maximum out of this. It's a long lap here at Trial Mountain, so he absolutely will have to pit before the end of the race, and perhaps the strategy just not quite working for Maxwell. If you were going to commit to 2 stops, I can't see a reason for using the hard tyre, but hopefully he'll give me an update after the race and we'll talk about it, and I can get a better appreciation for what happened. But at the moment, Maxwell 5th place with a pit stop still to make. Kuroski is in 6th. Yellow headlights ablaze on the Megane. And as we run through the order, we have Sully in 7th. We have Slug in 8th after his second pit stop on the medium tyres. Just rubbing the walls there. A little bit of curb catching on the tyre. That's because it's so dark. We'll wait for sunrise to fully bring us back into daylight for the finish of the race, I would have thought, with 20 minutes to go, just over. And then further down the order, we have Thrasher, half a tank of fuel. Enough tyres to make the end of the race, you would think, in 9th place at the moment. And Rue, after the pit stop, he is right on terms here with Thrasher, but that looked like it was certainly very close to the wall on that penultimate corner. Cold tyres for Rue, and he's fitted mediums as well. So that is very interesting that with the amount of racing left we have on the circuit, he's gone for the medium tyres and a near full tank of fuel as well. Pit stop for Maxwell, pit stop for Kuroski. That promotes Thrasher, Rue and Deviant up to 9th position now. A personal best sector for Deviant on mediums. Here's Maxwell coming out of the pits. Kuroski, then Saito is next to gain a position off those drivers. Hyphy Honda, though, continues in the lead of the race, having to pit now for fuel and get off those soft tyres, or that set of soft tyres at least. I don't know if he's doing a 2-stop, 3 sets of soft tyre strategy. I don't believe we have to change compound. I believe we have to use a mandatory compound, or a mandatory compound for our American viewers. Again, I will await confirmation on that, but that will explain why the driver's not necessarily pitting an alternate set of compound tyre. Huge Jar into first place then with the pit stop from Hyphy Honda, but Huge Jar will be pitting next time round. Look at the fuel tank on Huge Jar's car. Hyphy Honda out his heat on softs. We'll wait to see. We always have to stare at the pit crew here. Hyphy Honda should be on his way out. There he is. We'll get an update. Oh, he's on his way in still. Wow, what a long pit lane it is. Lalo Kills is in the pits as well. So Slug now. TDs is in 2nd place. Where is TDs at the moment? But needing to pit for fuel as well. Slug has fuel, has tyres, and is about to take a position here off the pitted Hyphy Honda, is he? Hyphy Honda is back to racing speed. So I think he's just come out of the pits as Hyphy Honda into 3rd place, just ahead of Slug, and on similar runs to the flag. Hyphy Honda, soft tyres, full tank of fuel with 18 minutes to go. That could be strategically a slight issue for him, but Slug with pre-warmed set-up tyres will hope to just get a little bit closer to Hyphy. T-Deeds in 2nd place, as I mentioned before. Thrasher now in 5th, thanks to the pit stops of other people. He's got about 1/3 of a tank of his fuel left, and he's got medium tyres that may make the end, potentially. We've got Rue in 6th place. And he was featuring in our podium battle earlier on as well. Could be in for a good result here. Penalty on the car for Deviant on the Dunlop Chevy. And Huge Jar is pitting. 1% fuel remains on Huge Jar's car. I wonder if he entered low fuel mode there. And that will mean we have another new leader. Will it? Well, I thought T-Deeds might be able to complete another lap, but no, it doesn't look to be. Hyphy Honda will resume in the lead of the race. So front front brake discs glowing on Hyphy Honda as we still wait for sunrise to properly take effect. Of course, it will appear first from this direction. It should do anyway, because that should be east. So we shall see if Hyphy Honda will actually see the full daylight conditions once again. But back into first place for him, Slug now in second place, and across the line then to take that. He's got enough fuel and tyres, probably the most comfortable driver right now on the circuit to reach the end, because the soft tyres will go off as we get into the closing stages of this race. Thrasher's in third, Huge Jar out of the pits. The Ferraris have found each other again on circuit, and Huge Jar will not want to be held up by his teammate here. They'll know that they're on different strategies. Thrasher on mediums. I'm assuming Huge Jar has gone back to the softs. He has. So, however, I should say, Thrasher knows that they're both running to the flag, essentially. So he'll be reluctant, I think, to just give up the place without a fairly clear instruction from team leaders or a definitive manoeuvre from Huge Jar. Meanwhile, Rue catching again. He's had this invisible elastic band on the car to the hunt for the podium today. It has stretched, but it has always to this point come back to him. Huge Jar cannot get the overlap under the braking against his teammate Thrasher here, and there'll be some sweating foreheads at the Ferrari pit wall, hoping that these two don't come together and ruin each other's races. Huge Jar looking for that way through on the inside, just making sure Thrasher knows where he is and he can see his headlights in his rear view mirrors. The Ferrari visibility out the back window, not amazing, especially with a giant HP sticker on the back of the car, or a Deviant sticker as respectively, but certainly the wing mirrors still on the car and functioning well enough to see where your teammate is. So the Ferraris third and fourth, that would be a good result for them, but I don't think either driver will be happy finishing behind the other, so it's certainly going to be an interesting situation. But right now, Huge Jar's momentum is being halted on the brand new soft tyres, and perhaps by overfilling with fuel to the finish here. I'm waiting to see if we do get any fireworks between these Ferrari drivers. Let's join Huge Jar on board, shall we, for a few corners. Okay, well that didn't work. Sorry about that. We'll check out how Huge Jar is progressing. We'll be a bit nervous coming out of that corner prior to the longest straight, because he has had some problems coming out of there as the tyre wear drops off. So an additional degree of caution for him, I feel. And looks like Thrasher getting away from the corner as well, despite being on the older medium tyres here. Again, looking for just those places on the track where Huge Jar has more grip, and try and maximise and try and put Thrasher off the racing line just with pressure. And that did work a little bit there. Is this going to be the moment potentially for Huge Jar? I don't think so. He's got grip coming out of the corners. Thrasher's got hitting, and that makes it very easy then for Ferrari team, as promoted up to third goes Huge Jar. Hint of a little slide there through the penultimate corner, as we've seen from many drivers, and shaving the Armco barrier on the exit. Just very keen to build the pace now. He can see Slug ahead, can Huge Jar. He's in third place. He wants second if he can make it. Slug, remember, on the medium tyres, and ideal amount of fuel on board. So Huge Jar has hurt himself a little bit with too much fuel, I feel. Wow, huge wiggle going into the corner. He managed to save the car from destruction, but that will not help in his hunt down for second position. I'm quite sure if I can give an explanation for that one, other than visibility perhaps, and maybe a slight drop in focus. They certainly can't blame me, because I'm watching the replay. You can see one of the little drones there drifting across the racetrack that give us our trackside camera work. But Huge Jar is struggling again turning left, getting out of the corners, just getting a bit greedy maybe with the power. The Ferrari being compliant enough to give him that confidence, but look at Roux chasing up from behind, and surely Roux is going to be able to at least challenge into the hairpin with that momentum. They're going to get completely alongside one another, stamping on the brakes. Roux can't get the inside line, but will Huge Jar make another mistake on the outside of the circuit? Roux will feel like he's got the potential for a podium here today by the look of things. Certainly going to have to be careful on that front right tyre, but we only have 10.5 minutes to go. So he should be able to hold on here. Cresting over that little hill on the way down to the final chicane we go. So Roux in P4, someone's in the pits again, unless it's just our safety car driver, could well be. Behind Roux, into 5th place now is T Deeds with a fastest lap of the race, that time out at 1:59.7. So T Deeds unlocking the pace. He's got fuel to spare, I think, but can he get those soft tyres safely home? Or can they get him home, maybe, is more accurate. Lalo Kills in 6th. He's being chased by Deviant in 7th. Maxwell can see the pair of them just ahead of him in that 8th position. Looks like we are looking good for the finish here. I think Deviant is going to struggle to get home on those tyres. He's got his indicator light on, turn signal, flashing, turning left. I don't know if he's indicating very early that he's heading into the pits at the end of this lap. That would be very, very early indeed. P8 for Maxwell. Just getting down into 2nd gear smartly there. Very gentle, smooth driving from Maxwell. Just using those hard tyres. Didn't change the tyres onto softs at his most recent pit stop when he pitted for fuel. Happy to run those to the flag, it seems. Oh, dear me. He won't thank me for catching that on screen. But again, that corner catching out another driver and taking a huge chunk of the bodywork with it, I think. Saito in 9th place. This is good for the Peugeot driver if he can get those that front right of the medium tyres. Might need to look at our brake balance there, given the tyre wear characteristics. Slug's in the pits. Slug dropping down then, and Huge Jar being promoted. Thrasher is in 11th place. Why did he put all that fuel on board, I wonder, for Thrasher? He's got brand new soft tyres. Could have been, a quarter to a third of a tank of fuel to get home here. Just question why, unless he needed to run to go and get attend to something and left the car in the pits too long. Sully in 12th place. At the back, of course, we've got Mercury, our safety car driver, waiting in the pits. I don't think he's going to be featuring once again in our race, but Hi-Fi Honda, well, his gap is pretty huge. Now, he may be subject to a penalty. I'll have to deal with that later on before the 3rd race begins, but Hi-Fi Honda is in 1st place and he's got a big gap out to 2nd place. That could be comfortable enough to take the penalty even if there is one. Huge Jar then 2nd place and with fuel and tyres to bring us home in our remaining 7 minutes of the race. Roux is in 3rd place and has gapped T Deeds now, who is catching, but that was down to the most recent pit stop that has taken effect and taken Slug out of contention at this stage. It may be too late in the race now for the Lamborghinis and potentially for Thrasher to get back onto the hunt for the big points, but they will take whatever points are available to them tonight, I'm sure. It is not an easy day and night racing here at Trial Mountain, so if you can get home with points and a finish, I think you'll be happy enough. If I'm reading the results correctly, the results screen correctly for the championship, you can drop a score from the season. So you always want to just be beating your worst previous score, I think, to just make sure that you can afford one blip or one missing race. Huge Jar missed the race last time out, so did Slug, so that will be their automatic drop for the season. TD's in fourth, still got the fastest lap of the race at the moment in that Lamborghini. It's lap 26 for the leaders. Lalo Kill's about to finish his 25th lap. He is in 5th place. Then comes Deviant, who may need to be lifting and coasting here to get home on that fuel, and be struggling with that front right tyre as well. Deviant in 6th place, so could be a position coming for Maxwell and Slug. Maxwell just gently working his way through the race on the hard tyre, trying to avoid those curbs and rocks on the exits of this racetrack. And then Slug down into 8th place, could gain a position or two thanks to late race pit stops ahead of him, but I think he might have been hoping for more than 6th, 7th or 8th positions tonight. Likewise Thrasher, he's on the soft tyre. Lots of fuel on board for Thrasher. He's in 9th place right now, but with a big gap in front of him. He's going to need something pretty huge to happen in front of him to gain more than a position or two. And we have the Juicy Fruit Peugeot of our Saito. Certainly is a juicy car. In P10, we've got Sully in that 11th place. His teammate, Kuros Kai, found himself at the tail of the field at the moment. Oof, and it's probably moments like that that have not helped. So the car on the right-hand side is going to be looking rather second-hand at the end of this one. You can see some of the scratch marks. That's pretty light considering the amount of contact we just suffered. He's trying to get a feel for how the car's going to behave as he comes down into the next hairpin, because he's flashing with a little bit of temporary damage on the front and front right. And there you can see just the performance is appalling into the corner thanks to that contact with the track limits such as they are here. Rue is in the pits then. Rue pits, as does Divine, so they'll be dropping down the order then. Unfortunately, I think, given that we've got 3.5 minutes to go, I think that's a miscalculation on strategy. That's not gone to plan for Rue and for Divine, unfortunately. That brings TDs with the fastest lap into 3rd position, and he'll be really pleased with that, I think, starting further down and perhaps not having quite the strategy to run, but going home with a potentially fastest lap as well. He's got a tricky 2 laps to go. We will, I think, see a 29th and final lap here, given the timings on the screen and the fact that these are 2-minute laps. Huge Jar is in 2nd place and on his own here, hoping to benefit potentially from any post-race steward decisions, but 2nd place is a good place to start your season campaign ready for him, albeit the 2nd round for everybody else, with the exception of Slug. Lalo Kills. Now this is going to be quite the result. If Lalo Kills can come home in 4th, I think that will be very well received from the neutral fan base and from himself as well. I think that will represent a very strong performance. He's certainly got the tyres and the fuel in a comfortable place to get home. He's probably over-fueled. We have 2 minutes to go on the clock. Slugger's in 5th after that splash and dash, perhaps more than a splash to end up with half a tank of fuel on the car. More than you would really want, but we've got medium tyres on board as well and pushing hard now. Maxwell is in 6th, bringing the car home. And then we have Rue, 7th place. Cars not particularly close to one another at this stage. Maxwell unable to take effect. You wouldn't know we had a full course caution earlier given the gaps. One of the best things though is the proximity of these two Juicy Fruit sponsored Peugeots, who have been nose to tail most of the race. Certainly very evenly matched here, Saito and Sully. And perhaps that means that the Peugeot car just isn't particularly good, and they're maximising what the car can do. It looks like a very happy, bubbly kind of car, but it's perhaps not very quick. It's certainly not very aerodynamic, and it's even less so having a close-up look at the front of Sully's car. He's clearly been having some fun out there with the barriers. The number 52, Kiros Kai, down in the order, and I think has had some inconsistent laps to move him into that position. There is Deviant then. Also, he's talk of inconsistency. There's a half-second penalty on the car at the moment. Looks like we are heading towards the start of the final lap then for Haifi Honda. He could almost afford here to slow down and cross the line just ahead and just behind the hour mark, but he's going to finish us off with potentially a fastest lap approach. So he will have to finish an extra lap. It looks like Huge Jar might not. We tick over to an hour. Will that mean the checkered flag for Huge Jar in second place? I think it might. It will indeed. So confirm the second place on track for Huge Jar. T-Deeds with the fastest lap in third. This is a curiosity of the timing system on Gran Turismo, where all but the first position driver can finish the race first. Lalo Kills, I have to say, a round of applause for Lalo Kills, bringing this car home, and some really good strategic decisions there into fourth place for the Alfa Romeo team. Looks like first and fourth, best team result then for Alfa Romeo. They'll be pleased with that one. Slug then, eventful and aggressive strategies, brings him home in fifth. We have Maxwell crossing the line in sixth place ahead of Thrasher and Rue. We will see Saito and Sully come through nose to tail as they have been throughout this race. The 52 getting ahead. No, sorry, I got a bit excited there. The 19 finishing ahead of the 52. Saito ahead of Sully. Curious Kai will be coming through. Then we'll have Deviant in the final position. And then we will still be waiting on a lap of honour for our winner, Haifi Honda. As I say, probably would have wanted to slow down. I think by the way that finished, I'm pretty sure he would have been able to have finished the race on the previous lap if he'd have slowed down. But you might as well keep running if you can. Haifi Honda then will cross the line and he will finish the race with 29 racing laps and the win for Haifi Honda. Congratulations to him. Thank you for bringing me back for the Deviant Racing League. Hopefully we will see you again soon on the channel for round 3 of the championship once I get my racing information and racing notes, and we will catch you all on the next race day. From me, Webbo, from everybody at Deviant, thanks for watching.